Hello and welcome to Reroll. My name is Angus Morrison, and early on the 15th of October the Magicka Wars NDA was lifted, which means I'm now able to bring you some early gameplay. This video will use a mixture of pre-alpha and alpha footage, and for anyone interested, the alpha build is now available through Steam Early Access. If you're unfamiliar with the Magicka IP, the concept is simple. Combine any elements from your pool of 8, unleash the spell, and pray to God it doesn't take your head off. Which it will. It'll take your head, your enemies' heads, and the heads of innocent bystanders for miles around. It's definitely worth looking up a Let's Play if you haven't seen it, because the chaos is something to behold. The original Magicka was developed by Arrowhead Studios as a 4-player co-op title, but Wars is developed by Paradox North and, as the name suggests, takes the series in the rather bloody direction of 4v4 PvP. The project is still very early in development, so this is not a review, but a brief preview to see where the Wars has promise and to offer suggestions where the game is found wanting. The immediate difference you'll notice in Wars is the 3-element limit to your spells. The original Magicka allowed combination of up to 5 elements, more if you include the compound elements like steam or ice, to unleash mighty spells like the meteor shower or the legendary arse mines. I can understand why they've done this. The potential combinations are orders of magnitude greater when dealing with 5 slots, and limiting the players to 3 will be considerably easier to balance. Basically, it lowers the potential for one person to stumble across a mystical death spell which turns the enemy to jam. Faster than the enemy usually turns to jam. And Paradox have stated that their goal is accessibility. They want as many people playing as possible, and umming and ahhing over the keyboard trying to construct a workable 5-element spell in the heat of the moment isn't wildly conducive to the newbie who's wandered in off the street. However, in streamlining the experience, I wonder whether Paradox are cutting too deep. Your most devastating spells, such as the meteor shower and the ability to summon death, are no longer manually cast. Rather, the use of magic throughout the match will fill a bar, unlocking these hotkeyed spells as time wears on. I mean, pressing 4 to unleash a meteor storm is idiot-proof, but it feels more like a Fisher-Price apocalypse than the great work of magic. I think it's right that these spells should be unlocked gradually as the game plays out. It lends a distinct flavour to the beginning, middle and end game, at which point Death is marching about like he owns the place. But it defies logic that the best spells are the easiest to cast. I'd like to see the ability to cast these spells unlocked, at which point you have to enter a 4 or 5 element combo to unleash hell. It would add a sense of challenge and make it all the more spectacular when you pull it off. Elsewhere, Paradox have cut still more. It's no longer possible to imbue your weapons with magic, staffs don't have active abilities, and attempting to self-cast harmful spells instead results in AoE. Players of the first Magicka will know that you are as big a risk to yourself as the surroundings. Unintentional suicide was a leading cause of hilarious death among wizards, but in Wars the safety is firmly on. Happily, friendly fire is still a real and present threat, and in the fray you're more than likely to mow down a teammate or two. This ensures that at least some of the chaos which characterise Magicka lurks in the new arenas. And I suppose the real question here is, despite the simplification, is it still fun? Is it a true madcap Magicka game that can provide hours of entertainment over voice comms? Is it a game that deserves to spawn untold legions of Let's Plays? The answer is undoubtedly yes. I had a riot. You still have to think fast or button mash in terror depending on your preference. The fast rounds are extremely compelling, and there's a delightful absurdity about sprinting the full length of the map to outrun death. Plus, these are very early days. At present there's only one map and one conquest style game mode, and the potential for expansion is huge. I worry though that after release it'll prove too simplistic for long-term appeal. After only a few hours I found myself resorting to the same handful of spells, and while that's likely to change as people learn the ropes and how best to counter certain combinations, it doesn't feel like there's much there to master. The difference between the pros and the average might not be all that great. One solution could be the incorporation of longer spells at different difficulty levels. For example, the standard 3-element level plus 4-element and 5-element matches for those who want a real test of muscle memory, though the issue of balance remains. Other settings, such as games which enable self-cast for all spells, friendly or otherwise, would provide the authentic Magicka experience to those who want it without alienating the newcomers. There is a lot of scope here for Paradox to play about with the server settings. When it releases, Wars will be free to play, relying on gear and weapon sales using crowns, which can also be earned in-game. As you can see, the gear system is literally just tumbleweed right now, so I'll take a closer look at pricing and progression come launch. I should note though that for early access to the game you are required to purchase at least the starter wizard pack, which includes a number of weapons and a robe, so it's a safe bet that that's their pricing model. Overall then, I had a lot of fun. The chaos inherent in the Magicka formula is very well suited to PvP, for its comedy value if nothing else, and it's easy to see a diverse brawler growing out of the limited alpha. However, I feel somewhat patronised. In the name of accessibility, a number of features that made the original Magicka such joyful carnage have been removed or toned down. 3 elements in place of 5, no weapon enchantments, and fewer accidental suicides. These are choices which limit the depth of the game and, in my opinion, underestimate the player's intellect. I respect the need to keep things balanced for PvP, but come release I'd like to see skill become central to the spellcasting. Wow, you stuck it out to the end. Thanks for watching. Do feel free to share this preview across the internet, coax in a new subscriber or two, and I'll see you next time.